6 years after a Rockford bank robbery, the man held responsible is sentenced. 33-year-old Bernard Waddick will spend 5 years, more than 5 years, in federal prison for the robbery. As part of an agreement with prosecutors, he admitted that back in July of 2019, he went into the Chase Bank at 3699 North Main Street wearing a mask and holding a gun. He then pointed it at several employees, demanded money, and later ran away with the cash. It's unclear if Waddick will receive any credit for time served.